Welcome to my craft spot. I am Pam Savage, owner of Young at Heart Creations. This is an unscheduled live. I had not planned on going live today. Had not planned on painting anything else. But I decided I wanted to try to get one more apron done for the Florida event in just a couple of weeks that we will be going to. So I was about to sit down and start painting it. And I thought, no, I'm going to go ahead and see if anybody's wanting to paint, or well, you probably won't be painting this with me, but if you would like to chat while we paint. So I am doing an apron tonight. Y'all have seen me do several aprons. I've done this one before live, but of course Facebook takes them away after 30 days. So I'm going to start from start to show you kind of how I get started with them. A lot of times when I got on here, I've already got some of it base coated, and but I'm going to show you what I do right from the beginning on one of these. I've already washed them and ironed them, so it was ready to go. So if you did not get a notification that I was going live, that means that you're probably not following me. Or if you are following me, you don't have it set to get all notifications. So if you're watching this live or this replay, if you'll go down to the right-hand bottom of your screen, and where it says following, you'll either see a little bell or 3 little dots. Click on that and then choose, I think it's the first option that says get all notifications. So when you hop on, say hello, let me know that you're here. And again, I apologize, this was not a scheduled live. Y'all know how my life is right now. I haven't been really able to schedule much of anything. So I'm going to pull us up over here on my iPad and hopefully be able to keep up with some comments. We got our little Santa project finished, our workshop. Hi, Sherry. I've got your package ready to go. Sherry won our Happy Mail drawing yesterday, so I put a little box together, and once she gets it, it's going to go out in the mail in the morning. Once she gets it, then I will post a picture of what was in her box. Hi, Heather. Hi, Sally. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Janelle. So we've got lots of new followers in the last week. So if this is your first time in, thank you so much for being here. We had a 3-day workshop this past week on a adorable Santa. And so I'm going to give it about a week and let some of those finish up and catch up and finish theirs. And then I'm going to have them, I'm going to do a post here and I'm going to have them all put their pictures of what they've done, of their Santas. I had so much fun with it, even with all of life that was going on in between everything. Y'all are just one of my happy places, and you just made everything easier. But I just had so much fun with it. And I've already seen some pictures of your finished projects, and they are so cute. You did a great job. All right, let me see if I can get us pulled up over here. It's being contrary. I was just trying to watch somebody else's live, and it kept going in and out for them. So I'm assuming internet is still really having problems keeping up, being overloaded with everything that's going on. All right, let me see if I can refresh it. There we go. Might take comments a minute to catch up. Okay, I've got Elizabeth. Oh, I'm so glad you like your Santa. I've got another adorable pattern for a Santa that I don't know when we'll do it, but I am planning on doing it too. Okay, so what I'm doing tonight is an apron, and I'm going to go ahead and bring you down. And again, this was an unscheduled live. I don't know how long I'll be on here. I definitely will not be able to finish it, but Mr. Pam had a little meeting he had to go to, so I thought I was going to paint. I thought I was done painting for this event that I'm going to, but I thought, I just want to do one more. Okay, so what I did, I've got a cardboard cutout. It's like a shirt shape that I get from, you can get them in small for children's size, or you can get the adult size. And I've got this one kind of folded under because it's longer. And I'm not going to have time to do the pockets tonight, but we'll go ahead and get the face going. So I'm going to do a gingerbread on this one. I've already got 2 snowmen, and I've got a sunflower one. And I think on this red and white stripe, I think a Santa would be really cute too. So and an elf and a, oh my goodness, there's just no end. I've got it in the red and white, and then I've also got it in the blue and white ticking. So I just love these. I got them off of Amazon, and I just, I should have put you a link on here, but I just put, what did I put? Ticking aprons, I think is all I put. So I just got this, this is one of the plates from my kitchen cabinet. And I also sized a pattern to kind of fit that size because it was just the right pattern. Typically, I freehand them on, but I'm going to show you tonight how to transfer the pattern on. I will be using fabric paint, but I will also be using regular paint with some fabric medium in it. And I've already mixed that up. The fabric medium, I got it off of, let's see, this came from Hobby Lobby. I know it's backwards. It's Deco Art Fabric Painting Medium. So, and it's 2 parts paint to 1 part fabric medium. So that's what I use when I'm using just regular paint. Okay, you can use a pencil, you can use a pen. Sometimes depending on what color you're going to be basing with, that pen doesn't want to go away. So I'm just going to use some chalk. And let's see, well, I might want to go with blue so you can see it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So let me go with some blue. And this is just Crayola chalk. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. Either Hobby Lobby or Walmart. Anywhere that has school supplies is going to have it. And I just center my circle with, if it's a shirt or whatever, in this case an apron, I just center it and get it where I want it. I don't like it down too low. I like it kind of up at the top where the bib is going to be. And then I have wax paper that I've taped onto this cardboard so the paint doesn't stick to it. And I've had that taped on here for a long time. And then I clamp it down with clamps. Just these big clamps and some small clamps because I want my material pulled tight. It paints a lot better. Now this is the same way that I did on the denim jackets. So same thing. Okay, so I'm going to take this blue top and just go right now. It's going to be a little bit bigger than the plate, which is just fine. And I will paint just inside of that. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that circle or not. It may still be a little bit too light for you to see. So I am done with that plate. I'm going to put it over here before I knock it off and break it. Okay, I can see it really well. It shows up real good. Hi, Margarita. Okay, and these stripes are very hard to cover. It takes a few coats. So I'm going to go ahead and base it in a couple of coats of white, and then we'll go over it with some honey brown. Honey brown's my favorite color for Gingerbread Man. And these are Royal Langnickel brushes with a turquoise handle, wooden handle, I believe. But you can tell how much I've used these. This is an angle brush, but it doesn't have its sharp edge anymore because I've used them. I've painted probably 150 hats with them, but I love them. They hold up really well. So I just get it a little damp. And I've got that white paint on my palette. And I'm going to go just on the outside edge of that circle just to cover up that chalk. But if that chalk line, if you still have some afterwards, just take an old dry toothbrush, make sure it's clean, that there's no paint or anything on it that's going to rub off, and just rub that chalk off, and it will just go away. It will disappear. We are getting down to the wire on this event with Miss Tamara Bennett. If you don't follow Tamara Bennett on Southern Adornments Decor, Southern, S-O-U-T-H-E-R-N, Adornments Decor, you don't know what you're missing. That girl's always got something going on. She's got a great following, a great business, great community. I am in her Painters Clubhouse where I don't know how many. She's got at least a couple of thousand or more in the clubhouse, and we call ourselves the PC Sisters. And I've been a member of it for, I guess 5 or 6 years now. And her live events just keep getting better and better and better. This year it is in Destin, Florida. And we leave on September the 30th. We're going down a little early. We have an Airbnb that we'll be staying in. Okay, so I'm just going right over that circle to cover it up. You can use anything to get your circle. If you need to put it on with graphite paper, we're going to use graphite paper in a minute. You can do that as well. You just want to get you a good base foundation on here to paint details on. Now the last one I did was on the blue and white ticking, and that turned out really cute. I was just finishing some details on Santa so I can glue him together tomorrow. Yay! All right, Miss Sherry. Do you typically do a white layer before? I do. Now, if the color is going to be really dark, I may not always do a white background, but it's just kind of my sealer layer. Seals the fabric so that my next layer of paint is not going to bleed through, and I don't have to have as many coats of it. Now, again, these stripes are pretty bold, and sometimes it takes, you can see I've put a good layer on there, and you can still see those stripes like I haven't even done anything. So you want to dry your layers really well in between coats, and that helps a lot. And when I finish, if I have some of that chalk that's still showing, just take that toothbrush and brush it right off. I don't use a baby wipe. Now I do on wood, but on this, if you use a baby wipe, it just kind of smears it. It might make a spot on your fabric. Okay, so I've got my edge done. So now I'm just going to start filling it in. And we might not get to many details tonight because I won't be able to stay on a real long time, but I just thought you could kind of see this process. So I'll just get a good layer on there and then dry it really well, and I'll go over it again. Now, if you're doing a snowman, I would probably put like a layer of gray underneath it. And I think the honey brown's going to cover it just fine once we get this layer down. because it'll keep it from bleeding through. Now on your normal brushes, when you're painting, I tell you don't get paint up in that ferrule, but it's almost impossible to not do that on these. Some more paint. The white that I'm using is Tulip Soft, and it's a matte paint. And then I also have some fabric paint that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's called Fabric Creations. And then I have just regular paint that I'll mix with some fabric medium. Once I get it completely painted and dry, I put it in the dryer on high heat for 10 minutes. No softener or anything like that in there, no dryer sheets. And then when that dryer stops, I immediately pull it out so that that hot paint's not sticking together. That seals it really well. And then I put Mod Podge fabric sealer on it. It's just like your regular Mod Podge, only it's for fabric. Anywhere that it's painted, I seal it with that and let it dry really well. Overnight hanging up, and then it's good to go. I wasn't real sure. On the last one, I put peppermints on the pockets. I painted that, but I wasn't real sure what the red and white peppermints would look like on the red and white stripes. So if you didn't do peppermints or candy canes, what would you put on the pockets? If you have any suggestions, I may still go ahead and do the peppermints because that's what I've done before and it worked well on the other one. But what is something else simple? I'm trying not to get real detailed because I am running out of time. Okay, let me dry that. Okay, these brushes, Janelle, are Royal Lane Nickel. I about rubbed the name off of them. I get them at Walmart, and they've got the turquoise handles. I think I've got a new package over there I'll grab in just a second and let you look at them. They're soft, a soft bristle, but the bristles hold up really well. I mean, literally, I have painted probably 150 hats with these. But now I clean them out real well after each use. Not after each project, but after each night that I use them or day that I use them. If I paint with them, I go in there and soak them with hand soap and wash them real well that way. Okay, I'm going to put one more coat on there. For a while, I could not get these brushes at Walmart. They didn't have any, but it seems like they're restocking them now. I think they were $4 something for a package of like 3. Now notice how I'm being careful when I get around that edge to get me a good sharp edge on it. Now, if this were just like a solid color, didn't have print behind it, you might could get away with not putting a layer under it. I just like the way the paint adheres better and covers when I do this. So I've had lots of messages from several that were not in the Here Comes Santa Here Comes Santa workshop, that were not in it, asking if they could order the template or the Santa. That was exclusive to our Here Comes Santa workshop attendees that paid, and I sold out. I had a couple left that I will be using for a craft show, but I don't have any to sell. And again, it was exclusive to that group. I may be able to sell them next year, but for this year, that was exclusive to our group that paid. So I didn't think it was fair to them to, besides I couldn't get any more cut. My sweet friend that cuts them for me is as swamped as I am right now with paint parties and events going on, and Canton, which is a huge flea market here in Texas. Oh, I don't know, I forgot how many acres it is. But before COVID, I don't know what it's like now. Any given weekend, it's every first weekend of the month, every first Monday weekend of the month, and there were like 300,000 people there shopping. Huge. Okay, now see how much better that looks with that second coat on there? Okay, I'm going to dry it, and I'm going to put just a little more in some spots just because I've got some paint left here on my palette. Thank you, Brenda. My mom gave this to me a long time ago. I have no idea where she got it. Probably Walmart. Walmart, Kohl's, or JCPenney. That's where she always shopped. We have our Ladies' Day at church this Saturday. We'll be decorating for that Thursday and Friday. So if you're local, or if you're within, we have some ladies that drive a couple of hours to come. They love, love, love our Ladies' Day. So we always have some really good speakers. Our speaker this year is Cindy Cawley, and I believe she's from Tennessee. Wonderful speaker. I have heard her before. Great speaker. And then we have, we're all decorating our tables. Y'all saw the little easel of the little canvas things that I painted for my table. Mine's going to be a paint party thing, or a paint theme. And have good food. And just, it's just a wonderful fellowship day. We have so many. We usually have about, anywhere from 75 to 90 women. I spoke at ours last year. I spoke at our symposium, which is a different event. This year, I spoke, I'll take it back. I did not speak, it wasn't last year. I spoke last year at our girls class that we have. They're all kind of running together now. I will be speaking at a Ladies' Day in April at the Gladewater Church of Christ. So I'm anxious about that. I put quite a bit of paint out there, so I'm just trying to use it up. This part is kind of like sewing. I do not like having to cut the pattern out when I'm sewing, you know, pin it all down, cut it all out. I just want to get to the good stuff. And that's kind of what this is like. But you're always so thankful that you did it when you start putting those details on. Makes your shading a lot easier to do. Trying to get some of that paint off that I've got on the brush that's pushing up. And I'm just trying to get it to the point where the honey brown that we're going to use will cover it up. Okay, so I'm going to wash my brush out. Let's give it a good dry. Well, before I do that, let me grab those brushes before I forget. Okay. Make sure I don't have any paint on my hands before I scoot up. Okay, these are what the packages look like. And it's Brush Value Pack. It says free how-to videos, all media, Royal Langnickel. So this is the angle brush set. This is the, and they're gold Taklon. This is round, and it's got a little angle brush in there too. So that's another variety. And this one is another different size round ones. There's 4 in, looks like 4 piece, and this one's a 5 piece. But that's what they are. And I got them at Walmart. Okay, so let's get this good and dry. And I've already mixed up some honey brown in my ice, I call it ice tray. Well, I guess it is an ice tray. We just use it for painting. But I want to get it good and dry. I don't want it mixing in with that white. Gumdrops would be pretty. Hi, Susie. Thank you, Brenda. Ornament would be pretty. That's a good idea. And do you think a peppermint would look fun? Because it's going to be different stripes. I mean, they're not going to go. They're not going to be look like these stripes. Okay, that should be dry enough. Okay, so we're going to go with honey brown. And I've got 2 parts honey brown and 1 part fabric medium. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to a little bit wider brush. That one was a not quite a 1/2 inch. This one is, this one's like a quarter, almost just barely over 1/4 inch. This one is a 1/2 inch. So we're going to go with that one, a little bit larger. Okay, so I'm just dipping into honey brown with this angle brush. I want to get my edges first, kind of paint it in, and then we'll fill it in. Now the paint, you can see how much easier it is spreading having that white under there. We're not having to rub it in because we've got that fabric sealed. Okay, we'll come back and fill it in here in just a minute. So fabric painting on fabric, it can be intimidating, but once you kind of get the feel of it, you do it a couple of times, you don't even really think about it anymore. And it is so much fun and just a different feel and something you're going to love doing. So I suggest, I have suggested this before, if you're scared to get to start on one, you don't want to mess a piece up, then I suggest that you get something that you don't care if you mess up on it. An old shirt, an old pair of jeans, an old blue jean jacket that you're not going to use, that's maybe torn up or something. Go to the Goodwill or some thrift store and get something that you don't care a thing about, but that you don't spend a lot of money on to practice on. That way you'll get the feel of it before you start on your actual project. Now, I will say that t-shirt fabric versus sweatshirt fabric and denim, they all, each type of fabric has a little bit different feel. Now, like the sweatshirts, sometimes they're a little fuzzy, and you just have to work a little bit with getting it worked in. But once you get that first layer on, or first 1 or 2 layers on good, then you shouldn't have any problem with it. I can't believe I'm doing this. I told myself after we finished the workshop, I said, okay, I'm done. I'm not painting anymore. I'm just going to get everything packed up and ready for the trip, because you know we've got new grandbaby coming next week. And which means we'll have Jack for 5 days. And then I've got my company coming. So I'm just going to spend time on getting everything ready. I've got everything almost packed, but a few things I need to do. And here I am painting again. But I can't help it. I was already missing it. I've been wanting to do this. I've got the snowman, and I've got the sunflower aprons. I wanted to also do a Santa one. I am absolutely not going to have time to do another one. This is the last thing, y'all. Tell me I can't do it anymore. I can't do another item for that. So this, I'm telling myself, this is it. No more painting for this event. Now, you'll see me doing my brush like this sometimes when I load my brush with paint. Got quite a bit of paint on there. You'll see me just kind of doing like this before I start doing the actual stroke. And that's to get that extra paint off of my brush so I don't have a lot of ridging. Okay, let's get this layer dry. And you can still see those stripes through it. You want to get it really good and dry. If you don't, you're just pushing the paint around. Definitely needs a second coat, maybe even a third. Now I have the first gingerbread one I painted, sold online. I mean, sold while I was painting it. And I asked her if she was going to be wearing it, and she said no. She was hanging it up in her kitchen as just a decoration. I think these would make, if you had some pillows that you could paint on for decorative pillows, it would be so cute. Okay, that should be good enough. Okay, same thing. So much easier to push that paint. Just glides right across there. And who knows, I may not get this finished. And it may be sitting here while we're gone to Florida. But I had good intentions anyway. And when I'm doing fabric, I kind of try to go both directions to work it into the fabric. My problem is I want to do so much detailing because to me that's the fun part. But if you put too much and spend too much time on it, you have to charge more to cover your time. So try to keep it at a happy medium, but it sure is hard. Okay, those stripes are starting to fade away now. I think I will definitely put one more coat on it. It always looks better when it's wet. The coverage looks better, and then you dry it and you go, oops, that's still showing through, or that didn't get covered. Okay, let's get that good and dry. Look at my comments here. Hi, Miss Brenda. Okay, I think I'm caught up on comments. Now you're still going to see the stripes a little bit, no matter how many coats you put on there, because these stripes are textured. There's a little bit of texture to them, so you will be able to see like an imprint of them. They're not going to cover 100%. But by the time you get all the details on there, it's not near as noticeable. Mr. Pam and I are having a late supper tonight because we had a meeting, so I've got a roast cooking, and man, is it smelling good. What are y'all having for supper? Or what did you have for supper? You probably already had yours. Okay, I'm going to put this final coat on it, and then I'm going to do a little bit of shading on it. We are taking our speaker, those of you that came to the in-person Santa workshop or Santa paint party, we are taking our speaker for our Ladies' Day Friday night to Mariachi's, where we had the paint party. We're going to be in that room. So I will be thinking about all of y'all. We had so much fun at the in-person paint party, and that's where we had it. So I will be thinking of you guys. Okay, and now I'm just trying to kind of use the rest of this paint up. Okay, let me look at it not under that light. See if I see any white coming through. I think we're good on it. Not too worried about the edges because we're going to shade it. Okay. Now I've got some brown that is make sure this is brown and not burgundy. Okay, it's brown. And it's the fabric paint brown. So I'm going to put a little bit in one of these trays. And it's stringy a lot. This fabric paint, or this brand anyway, Fabric Creations. It's very stringy, some of the colors. So you have to be really careful with it. Okay, I'm going to go and dry it because I don't want to lay my hand in it. And I will just use the water to do the shading with. Hey, Miss Marie. I will see you in 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. Well, no, about 2 weeks. Save me a seat. If you get there before I do, save me a chair. Well, I may have to sit kind of towards the back so I'm not climbing over everybody to go help Mr. Pam with my booth stuff. Okay, so I'm going to use that, if I can get it out of its stand there. I'm just going to use a small angle brush. And this is just a regular brush that I use on everything. So it's not one of those Lang Nichols. It's keep smiling. That's all it says, is keep smiling. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little bit of water. Okay, I'm going to bump up to a larger. Just putting that water on, I can tell it's going to be easier with a larger one. Okay, and I'm going to dip just the toe of that paint in the brown. It's really hard to see with these lights. I'm going to show you here in just a second how stringy it is trying to get the paint out and on your brush. Okay, so I'm just going to go all the way around. Now I want you to watch how stringy this is. I don't know if you can see it there, but it doesn't want to detach. It's like spaghetti or cheese. Doesn't want to let go, so you want to swirl it around and make it let go, because if you don't, you're going to string it across your project. And I found that out the hard way with black. The black is really stringy. Okay, put a little more water down here. Now for the detailing, I do use my other brushes because I can keep them nice, their shapes nice, because once I get this base coating done, then I've got a fairly smooth surface to work with. Now this fabric is a little textured, so it's not like wood, but again, I suggest that you get something to practice on, so you just get a feel for the different texture and how your paint moves on it. Okay, my brush is getting a little dirty, so I'm gonna just come clean it up there. And work it back a little bit. Okay, let me hold it up because I can't see what I'm doing with the light the way it is. So bear with me just a minute. Okay, so we've got it all the way around now. And I want to dry it really well. Because I'm going to show you how to put the pattern on. So you can use any pattern, any template that you have. Whether, you know, if it's for a door hanger, whatever you have, whatever pattern, template you have, you can transfer over to fabric. So if you have something you love that you've made a door hanger out of, and you think, oh, that would be so cute on a shirt or on a pillow or on an apron or a jacket, you can just transfer it exactly like you do on your wood. I want to make sure this is really dry before I put my pattern on. Okay, great. So just save me a seat in the back by you. Okay, I think it should be good. But before I start putting the pattern on, I want to cool it down a little bit. So I'm just going to fan it a minute just to cool it down because it's really hot. I have a hair dryer that has a cool setting on it, but it's really loud and I didn't get it out. Okay, we should be good. Should be good to go. Okay, so I've got this pattern here. And I'm going to get a little piece of tape. Painter's tape or Scotch tape, whatever you got. Just enough to hold it in place. And I'm going to put it on my shirt and get it just a little bit fuzzy so it's not quite so sticky. This is just painter's tape. But I don't want it super sticky that it's going to just rip my pattern all to pieces when I take it off. Okay, so you want to just get your pattern centered. Now remember, our face is a little bit bigger because we went around that saucer with that chalk. Raise it up just a little bit. Okay, now it looks good enough. Okay, so I'm going to tape it on so that it doesn't wiggle around. And you can get graphite paper in any color. You can get, I've gotten it in yellow, blue, gray, white, pink, red, orange. You can order variety packs on Amazon. Okay, and I'm just going to slide it under here. You want to be careful and not really push it around because that graphite will get off on your other fabric where you don't want it to go. So don't lay your arm on it and get it all over the place. Okay, now you can use a pen, a pencil, the back of your brush. I'm going to use one of these daughters, these styluses. I'm just going to use that. I'm going to hold it down in the middle. And I'm going to start with the eyes. was thinking there a minute. I typically go ahead and do the eyes all white and then put the black in, but we may just fill it in. Okay, I will do the inside white and then fill it in with the black. Okay, we'll just freehand the eyelashes. I'm not going to do the smile lines yet because I'm going to put some cheeks on there. Now, normally I use my wrist to let it guide me and lay it down, but I don't want to smear that everywhere. And that cardboard's a little bumpy. And we'll just freehand the tongue in. I'm going to lift it up. And yes, I got a pattern. Still have some of that graphite paper on there where I didn't want it, like here and here and here. I can just paint over it. I can take a baby wipe and try to wipe some of it off. And if you use like a gray, might not do it so bad. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I've got graphite paper there and some little splotches all over here. Splotches. You don't want to rub hard and rub your paint off. But just get most of it off. And this is coming off, but I will still go over it with a little paint. Just to clean it up. Okay, so let me put some paint back on there. So just anywhere you had some of those little splotches. Okay, we're going to have paint over that, so that's not going to matter. Okay, and we're good. Let's get that dry. Okay, so we've gotten a lot done in just an hour, a little under an hour. So we had 3 coats of white. Mainly, I just put that third coat on because I didn't want my paint to dry up and waste. And then 2 coats of the honey brown and shaded around it with brown. We got our pattern put on. Okay, so I'm going to need some more white. Maybe. There it comes. And I've got all my paint colors in my bucket. I changed them all out for what I'm using for this project. Okay, so I'm going to do his little, the inside of his eyes first, and then I'll come back and do the little black part of it. It'll just be so much easier that way. So let's see, do I want to use a brown? I mean a round. Let's try this little, ooh, that's gonna be too big, I can already tell. Too big. Okay, so I've got a smaller little angle brush here. I'm gonna see what I do with it. Let me see if it works. Yeah, that'll be better. Okay, and let's go ahead and do this one. Paint's a little sticky. My hand's sticking to it. Well, let's just go ahead and do the, because that's going to be white. So let's just do the whole inside of the eye white. That's so much easier than trying to fill in those little triangles. I think the eyes are what makes or breaks your piece if you have a character. Whether it be snowman or whatever you're doing. If it has a face, the eyes, to me, are the most important part. Ooh, that's sticking to me. Okay, let's dry. And put another little coat on there. Tell you, gingerbread, they just don't seem to ever go out of style. I mean, and now you're seeing them for all occasions, not just Christmas, but Valentine's gingers, patriotic gingers. You're just seeing them everywhere. Very popular. Okay, now I'm going to just freehand where the black goes. And remember, that black is very streamy. You know what? I see where that white kind of mixed in with that honey brown. It looks a little yellow. So down where that white's going to show, I'm going to add a little more white. Okay. Now, if you want to, if you're not real sure about freehanding, take a pencil. And the way I do these eyes, I start at the top. And just kind of curve them down. Leaving some white on the sides. And then you've got your guideline. Okay, so I'm going to take that little angle brush again. You could use a round. Or a filbert. Filbert, just whatever you're comfortable with. But make sure the black touches the top of the eye. And black looks like it should cover in one coat. And it can fool you. Once you dry it, you'll see that a lot of times you need a second coat of black. Okay, he's still looking a little scary. Looks like ghost eyes. Normally I would be turning this around for me. Be more comfortable for me painting it. I usually do when I'm doing aprons or jackets. I'll do them in there on my dining room table because I've got so much more room. The lighting isn't as good though. Okay, let's dry it and put one more little coat on it. And then we're going to shade some blue around it. To me, he never looks like a gingerbread boy or girl until you get the icing on. Right now, he kind of looks like a brown moon. Okay. I want to make sure that black's good and dry before I do the blue. And I think for around his eyes, I'm going to use Williamsburg Blue Deco Art. Just regular paint, not fabric. So I'll need to mix a little bit of fabric medium in with it. I'm going to let those dry just another couple of minutes on their own, and let's put some cheeks on him. So this is the dry, the Wet n Wild eye makeup brush. Love, love, love it for dry brushing and some detailing. I'm not going to get it wet, just going to, I've got pink, vivid pink mixed with some white. So I'm going to get some on the end of it, no water. And I'm going to rub it in really good. But then I'm going to rub most of it off. I've got a napkin over here, and I'm going to rub most of it off on that napkin, and then very gently I'm going to start just rubbing in a little cheek. Okay, I'm going to add some more. Got that paint on there. Really rubbing it in and then getting most of it off. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm adding some paint. And getting it off on my paper towel. I'm not putting much pressure at all. Little circles. Okay, I think we should be good there. So now he's got some cheeks. I'm finished with that brush, so it goes in the water to be soaking. I'm going to take some of this Williamsburg blue. It's not going to take much at all. Right there. I'm going to mix a little bit of that fabric medium. So it's 2 parts paint, 1 part medium. So I don't need much in there. It's kind of like making a cake. Or when I'm making one of my casseroles or something, I just kind of guess how much I want to put in there. I go fairly close to the recipe, but not always perfect. Okay, now I've got a little bitty detail flat brush, and I'm going to just load the corner of it. I may have to turn this around a little bit. Let's see if I can do it this way. Okay, and I'm going to go right down the sides of the eye. Right next to the black. On both sides. Oops. And give him, I'll turn it around just a second. I don't think it's going to work that direction. But I'm just floating a shade of that blue. And that one I got a little bit too much paint, so let me kind of bring it back a little bit. Okay, and now I need to do it on the other side. I don't want much water in this brush. It's so tiny. You could do this with the tip of a round brush also. And then just right up into that corner. Okay, I want to get that one a little bit darker. Okay, I don't know if you can see it or not, but now he's got some blue around those eyes. Okay, and if you were in the Here Comes Santa workshop, you saw me do that TX snowflake. Well, that's what we're going to do in his eye. Only we're not going to put the dots on it. Okay, I'm going to clean up around here just a little bit. Because that honey brown kind of mixed in with that white, and it still looks a little yellow. Oh yeah, much better. Looked like he had jaundice or liver disease or something like that because his eyes were yellow. Okay, just cleaning up around that one a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the center of the eye. So I've just got my small liner brush, and I added a little bit of water to that paint, and we're going to make a T. Oops, a little bit too much water. Let me get some of that off. It's got to drip. Okay, so we're going to make a T. And then a small X in the middle. And that's why you want to make sure that black is very dry, or you'll end up with gray. Same thing on this side. T and X. The X is smaller, much smaller. Cover that a little better. Okay, and then I always put a little dot in the center. So let's use one of my Dippin' Dotties. Right in the middle. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. Starting to come to life a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go into that black, and I'm going to outline the eye, and I want to be careful because those dots are still wet. So I'm going to go right under his eye. See if I can move this out of the way. Okay, and I want to do his eyebrow. Well, let's do the around the rest of the eye first. And I make sure that the black line is touching the black top of the eye. Okay, so there's the difference in the two eyes. This one's outlined. Okay, and then eyebrow. I'm going to get that dry so I don't smear my hand in it. I don't want to get those dots too hot. Remember, they'll cave in on you. Again, this is much faster if you're not doing it on a live. So don't be intimidated about how long it takes. Okay, so what to do? His other eyebrow. I have to turn it back around. I'm going to do some eyelashes. See a little spot here that didn't cover real well. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go, oh, I still gotta go around that eye. Whoops, I missed it. I didn't outline the outside of this eye. I knew something looked off and I was trying to figure out what. Something doesn't look right. Okay, now that looks better. Okay, let me turn him around to the eyelashes because I can't do those upside down. I have to have my hand going a certain way. Get that dry so I don't smear it. Okay, so let's start on this side first so that I don't smear everything on that other one. And I usually go a long one, a short one. Long, short. Long, short. Okay, and then I'll mix some little short ones, just some little fine ones in between. And then on the bottom, I go up, down, and in the middle. Okay, same thing over here. Do a long one. Short, long, and then some little bitty ones in between. Up, down, and out. And I want to shade a little bit of that pink underneath his eye. just a little bit. And I should have done that before I outlined it because I got it a little bit on the black, but I'll go back over it with the black and clean that up. Okay, we got just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and do his nose. I like to do the nose in, I think I did it in red on the other one, but see if I got it right here where I can reach it. Rockwood red. I like to do it in that. It's Deco Art Rockwood red. Just seems to work for me. So I'm going to mix a little bit of that medium. Just mix it up till you can't see any milky white. And let's go with a smaller angle brush. And it'll take 2 coats. Smooth it out. And I try to cover my graphite paper lines. Oops, I'm about to drop my paintbrush there. Okay, let's try and put a second coat on there. Okay, Vicki, thank you so much. Okay, I think 2 coats is plenty. But I want to clean this up right here. Okay, let me see if that deep burgundy is going to be enough to shade it or if I need to go with brown. And it's going to be so little, I'm not even going to mix the fabric medium in with it. Okay, I think I need to go with the brown. That's not quite dark enough. You could also use black on it, but I'm just going to go with the brown. And then we'll put a highlight line across the top too. Okay. Let's go, let's use that brown also just a little bit right under his nose. I'm wiping some of that water off. Oops. Got it in some white over here on the cloth. Here we go. So let's put just a little bit of brown, just to give his nose a little bit of dimension so it doesn't look like it's just flatly sitting on there. You could also do that around his eyes before you put the eyelashes on. I'm not gonna do that much to it. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little white highlight across the top. And let's get our little smile lines in here. I need some more black. Okay, and smile line over here. Sometimes you have to go back the opposite direction to get it filled in, because of the texture. Okay, and I'm going to, I already put it up. I'm going to put a couple of dots I don't know if this paint's still wet enough or not. I think it is. It's pretty dry. Okay, let me put a little more white out. Give him some little cheek highlights. Okay, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. One, 2, and 3. Wipe that Dippin' Dotty off. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit larger round to do his mouth. Gonna have to turn it just a little bit. Okay, so I always outline it first and then come back and fill it in. And if you don't get it exactly on the lines, you can come back with your honey brown, whatever your base coat color is, and clean it up a little bit. Very textured, this fabric. So just be sure and watch if you do one of these. Make sure you go back in the opposite direction if you need to get it all filled in. Tuesdays are when we go keep Mr. Jack, Tuesday mornings, so we leave out of here just a little after 6. So we get up about 4:45. So it's we need to go to bed early night. Okay, let me get my smaller little angle brush. And just start filling him in. I may work on him again Wednesday morning. Well, I'm not sure which day, because Mr. Pam's off on Wednesday. So we usually try to have a date morning, go eat somewhere. But I can work on him definitely sometime Thursday morning. I'll be busy Thursday evening with decorating for the ladies' day. But Thursday morning I may be able to come in here, work on him. And we'll put that little tongue in there, which will make his little mouth not look so just like he's a toothless open air mouth. Okay, I'm going to dry that and put another coat on. I will be putting the frosting on him, and then I'm going to put some pine branches with some berries up at the top of his head. He still looks a little plain right now. And I've got a little spot right here that has some of that graphite on it. And right here. And I'm going to clean up. Okay, I think it would be pretty to shade around him with, let's use some of that rockwood red that we mixed up. Get my lid on that. I love, love, love these trays. There's so much, such a help. Okay, this may be a mistake, but I'm going to try it anyway. So I'm just going around the outside. Let's see if I can get one of my stiffer brushes here. That way it just makes him look like he's standing out a little bit, that he's not just flat. I'm putting some water on it. That just kind of helps it fade out. Which is what I want. And I went with one of my little stiffer brushes. Okay, look at the difference in that. Love, love, love the difference. Okay, so let's add some more water up here. So I've still got quite a bit of detailing to do on him. And I'm making sure that I get this color right up against him, that there's not any white showing in between him and this color. This also colors up if you had any chalk line still showing, covers it up. Dipped in the wrong color. almost done with this. Putting that water on so it'll be soaking in. And you want to make sure this is really dry before you do this, or you'll get your brown, whatever color you've got, mixing in. And I'm just putting it on the corner and then just working it back and forth. It's not going to matter much up here because we're going to have the pine needles that will be covering it up, but I'm going to go ahead and do it all the way around because I don't know exactly where those pine needles will cover. That roast that I've got cooking ought to be good and tender because it's been in there about an hour longer than it should have been. Why is it when you get to painting, normally an hour takes a full hour to pass, but when you're painting, an hour passes in 15 minutes. It just goes by so fast. And you think, there's no way I've been sitting here that long. Yeah. Okay. Need to get it a little bit darker right here. Okay, look at the difference that made. I love the difference. Doesn't look like he's just a flat picture on there. Let's see, a little bit here on his mouth that needs to be covered in. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to be able to do tonight. I've got to go finish Mr. Pam's supper. When we get that, his frosting around him, his icing, and get the branches up here, he's going to look so cute. And then decide what I'm going to put on the pockets. But he's getting there. So that's what we got done on him tonight. Okay. All right. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me unannounced. I did not announce that we were going to be doing this, but I appreciate it every time that you hop on with me. I just love it. It's getting to where if I paint anything, I feel like I need to go live with you. It's just not as much fun without you, but it's faster when I'm not doing a live. I get more done, but it's more fun when I'm on here with you. So I appreciate you watching so much. All right, I'm not sure. I'm going to try to get back on here Thursday. No promises. I may have to just finish him up when I can finish him up, but I will let you know. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday tomorrow. I'm going to go play with our little Jack and keep him. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much. We will have a new granddaughter in a week and a half now. The 26th. It's getting close. One more reminder. I did send out a notice today, or I posted it on the, hi Judy, I posted it on the Facebook here, that don't forget, mark your calendars for October 16th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's when I'll have the live Dippin' Dottie sale. So I was getting all the papers and everything ready for that today to start putting your names down and everything when we have that sale. So mark your calendars, October 16th at 7 p.m. We will be having that live sale. All right, ladies, thank you so much. Thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.